Just, yeah, there we go. Just wanted to make a note that, or just make a comment that we record all our webinars for resource purposes. So just to let everybody know that this session will be recorded, and in turn, then we put them on our website for future use. So that that's in effect. Before we get started here, I just want to make a quick land acknowledgement and just acknowledge that our Brandon office is located on Treaty 2 lands, the traditional homelands of the Dakota, Anishinaabe, Oji-Cree, Cree, Dene, and Métis people. However, we work extensively throughout Manitoba in the lands of Treaties 1 through 4 and the southern portion of Treaty 5. RMED respects the treaties that were made on these lands where we all work together. We commit to reconciliation along the path to economic prosperity. So I just want to quickly welcome everybody to today's webinar. This webinar is an event that we're hosting today due to the postponed case study launch that we were planning to have in Dauphin a few weeks back now. And so now we're just having it in a webinar format. So we'll be going through the two presentations today, and we have some guests that are here to answer some questions if there are. And yeah, so just to recognize that we're going to try to keep this to 1 hour. We're usually pretty strict on that timeline. So as we go through the presentation and presentations, if you want to save your questions till the Q&A portion, that'd be great. But if you have a pressing issue, we'll try to monitor the chat function as well. And also too, if you're having any sort of technical issues or if there are some issues, you can pop them in the chat box there as well. I just want to take this moment here to recognize our staff that are involved. We have Fumi Abola Adulata, who is our marketing and coordinating communications manager. We also have Teddy Garvey, who's our project coordinator. She's not here today, but she does a lot of the background work in order to get the webinars ready to go. Eric Forster, who's an economic development advisor, and myself, Devin Shtykalo, who I'm also an economic development advisor. Also, as part of this, we had invited for some guests for the Northgate Trails portion of it. We invited Clayton Swanton, and just looking on the list, I see that he has been able to join us. And I had for Vermillion growers, I asked John Deschauer or Lucky Deschauer to join us today. I'm not sure if he has been able to join. I'm not sure. Eric, am I trying to get to the participants? I'm not sure if you can see any.
Yeah, I don't see him on the list just yet, so he might be running a bit behind.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so with that, I think we're pretty much ready to go with the presentations. We're going to start with the Vermillion growers presentation, and my colleague Eric is going to present that one. Following that, we will, if there are questions that were related to the Vermillion growers, we'll have a few minutes after that to address those questions and go from there. And then once those are done, then we can go into the Northgate's Trail presentation, which I'll be presenting. So without further ado, Eric, I'm going to pass it over to you and take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Devin. Great to see everybody here today. And love seeing the familiar faces each webinar. And it's funny, like Devin said, we had a case study launch planned in person for February, and of course Manitoba weather, we had to stop it. It was just unreal. And now we have this webinar happening, and then a little bit of snow arriving. So sometimes you just can't win, right? But we're glad to have everybody here joining us today. And as Devin mentioned, I get the privilege of speaking a little bit about Vermillion growers. So growing opportunity in Dauphin, Vermillion growers is cultivating new agricultural opportunities for the parkland region. Taking place right in Dauphin, Manitoba, Vermillion growers had an innovative approach to economic development to address local challenges, fresh produce production. This initiative resulted in a large-scale, year-round greenhouse and provides a replicable model for other communities. Now, a little bit about Dauphin, the community overview. Dauphin is a vibrant city of 8,200 plus, serving as the Parkland region's hub, boasting strong community spirit, diverse amenities, and a rich agricultural base. In fact, it was quoted in the case study that volunteerism and can-do attitude are at the core of Dauphin's identity. Residents regularly unite to support local events, festivals, and community initiatives. And as a visitor to Dauphin and seeing some of the events take place, I can certainly attest to this. Now, the DeShauer family identified a gap in local vegetable production and envisioned economic growth by leveraging Dauphin's agricultural strengths. Vermillion growers launched Manitoba's first major commercial greenhouse, initially producing 10 acres of tomatoes, which is 10 million pounds annually. And for anybody who loves tomatoes as much as I do, this is fantastic news. And at a staffing level of 49 full-time employees, with plans to expand to 70 acres and over 300 jobs within 5 years. Now, community support played a big part in helping to make the vision become a reality, with key community members and partners stepping forward without hesitation. And some of the stakeholders being Vermillion growers, being the founders, leadership, and operations, local investors, community members, educational partners, supplier partners, Red Sun Farms, financial institutions, City of Dauphin, and of course, Manitoba Hydro itself. Now, commercial greenhouses are incredibly capital intensive. The first phase of development, up to 10 acres of growing area, included an investment in the infrastructure for future expansion. Now, the project quickly grew into a $44 million initiative. More than $6 million was raised from private investors across Manitoba, with support from the province of Manitoba's Small Business Venture Capital Tax Program, or Capital Tax Credit Program. And for anybody interested in learning more about this, I highly recommend you do, as it has actually been increased since the time of this project. So it's definitely something worth looking into. Now, the timeline of this project, concept began in 2014, although I do remember Lucky saying that talks and envisioning of this started well before 2014. Construction started in August 2022, and opening for initial 10 acres took place in July 2023. The company has been growing and shipping tomatoes on the vine since November of 2023. Grow lights were activated in December 2024, providing extended growing season during the winter months. And as of May 2025, tomatoes were made available for purchase at Costco, with plans underway for the construction of additional phases. I will also mention that I've seen Vermillion tomatoes available for purchase in the Brandon Food Rescue grocery store. So anybody who frequents that location, be sure to keep your eyes open for that. And from day one, the founders of Vermillion Growers met with government departments, utility operators, and industry experts, invested in purpose-built infrastructure designed for expansion, leveraged technology for controlled environments, and optimizing climate, irrigation, and energy use. They formed a strategic partnership with Assiniboine College to develop a skilled local workforce and implemented a phased expansion with thoughts to the future. And as mentioned previously, commercial greenhouses are incredibly capital intensive, but a unique funding structure was created which seen investment from Manitobans through the Small Business Venture Capital Tax Program, supplier investment, and a Canadian investment fund. Adoption of advanced greenhouse technologies included water recycling, hydroponics, water collection systems, and energy efficiencies. And of course, thoughts to the future with built-in infrastructure taking place in the beginning. Now, this project has forever changed the agricultural landscape of Dauphin and the Parkland region. And when discussing community engagement, we see strong local buy-in through investment and advisory roles. in addition to educational partnerships for workforce development. With 49 employees already on the payroll, there is a goal of 300 employees in the next 5 years. The vision and determination of the founders has demonstrated that the pursuit of big dreams and the development of world-class facilities is possible in rural Manitoba. Now, what are some of the things that we've seen with outcomes and impacts? While enhanced community pride and engagement, there's an increased access to fresh local produce, and not forgetting the many new jobs that were created for the community. There's infrastructure supports expansion with forward thinking early in the project. There's a reduced carbon footprint and pursuit of equity partners for rapid scaling. Now, what stands out to me when we discuss being visionary is the 8 years between the idea for the project until construction started. Now, another term for these projects are overnight success with 8 years in the making. And what we see as key success factors, strong community, investor engagement, scalable infrastructure planning, visionary and resilient leadership. Something that we hear quite often in this project. Now, some of the lessons that are learned. Now, building the first of its kind commercial greenhouse in Manitoba definitely presented its challenges and had the potential to be economically fatal. Raising capital, like it took time to raise funds for the project, which resulted in construction during the COVID-19 pandemic. Navigating regulatory approvals, and being trailblazers in the commercial greenhouse industry, facing barriers to entry, commissioning and approvals of the greenhouse systems, and working with various government authorities. But through challenges, there were solutions. Solutions for funding, stakeholder engagement, and the foresight for phased construction. There were solutions that were found. Now, best practices learned through this project can be replicated in other parts of the province as well, and can apply to a number of different industries or business. Communicating a strong vision for your initiative and build a dedicated project team, and recognize that major economic development initiatives require a significant amount of time, determination, and resiliency. Now, this was crucial to bring an initiative of this scale to fruition. Bringing key stakeholders in as early as possible for initial conversations, being prepared for future and additional investment in infrastructure, and engaging with the community and offer investment opportunities to encourage local buy-in. Vermillion Growers has transformed Dauphin's agricultural landscape, providing world-class agribusiness is possible in rural Manitoba. Other rural communities are encouraged to support visionary leaders, build resilient teams, and remove barriers for innovative projects. If you want to learn any more information about Vermillion Growers, we invite you to check out our website, where we have our case study available for the Vermillion Growers project, as well as other webinar recordings, as well as copies of the other case studies that RMED has launched in the past. And thank you, everybody. Appreciate having you here to hear a little bit more about Vermillion Growers. And I'm just going through the participant list. I don't know if Lucky was able to join us. So if you do have any questions, I invite you to either put them in the chat or unmute yourself, ask away. I'll do my best to answer them. But I also know through previous conversations, because about this project, I had lots of questions myself, and Lucky and Maria have always been fantastic in answering them for me.
Excellent, Eric. Thank you for that. You were able to capture everything just great. Let's see if there's any questions here. You might be off the hook, Eric.
Oh. All righty. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks very much for that. Okay, if there's no questions on that, then we can move into the next presentation, which is on Northgate Trails. And I'm just going to share my screen. I can sort it. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so just a little bit about the next presentation here on Northgate Trails. One of the reasons, you know, RMED decided to commission this case study was because it represented the exact kind of advanced, locally driven economic development that we want to showcase. The project demonstrates how a community identified an opportunity, thought beyond a short-term solution, and created, um, sorry, and created a long-lasting asset with economic, social, and tourism impacts. Uh, our goal with this case study is not just to celebrate success, but to extract lessons, strategies, and approaches that other rural communities um, can apply in their own contexts. So by way of an introduction, this case study examines Northgate Trails project in Dauphin, a community-driven initiative that transformed a local opportunity into a major economic and social asset. By re-imaging a small-scale trail for the 2020 Summer Games as a world-class multi-use system, Northgate Trails addressed gaps in recreation, tourism, and community engagement, providing a model for rural revitalization. Um, Eric touched on this a little bit in his, but just also just a community overview. As we know, Dauphin is a regional hub of over 10,500 residents, known for its strong community spirit, high quality of life, and proximity to natural attractions like the Riding Mountain National Park. The city and the RM of Dauphin offer diverse amenities, robust volunteerism, and a can-do ethos, making it an ideal setting for ambitious community projects. The opportunity, upon being awarded the 2020 Manitoba Summer Games, local leaders saw an opportunity to create a legacy project for the community and for the region to enjoy. Instead of constructing the required trail, the team created a larger multi-use trail that would serve the community and attract visitors year-round. The Northgate Trail system is a 26-kilometer network of stacked loop multi-use trails designed for mountain biking, hiking, running, snowshoeing, and cross-country skiing. Strategically located near Riding Mountain National Park, just on the north side of it, the system features accessible family trails, a pump track, and amenities like micro cabins and community picnic areas. Stakeholders that were identified, the Dauphin Derailers Club, Northgate Trails Inc., were the founders and board and a group of volunteers. The city and the RM of Dauphin, the private landowners, and the Selo Ukraina Heritage Site, community organizations like the local Rotary Club, Fusion Credit Union, Dauphin and District Community Foundation, and provincial and federal granting agencies. Funding and resources. Funding came from a mix of government grants, including $335,000 worth of a federal grant, municipal and community organizations, and in-kind support from volunteers and local businesses. The approach focused on securing major contributions rather than small donations, enabling rapid and large-scale development. The anticipated or the implemented timeline. Back in 2016, initial discussions were had with Riding Mountain National Park. In 2017, a bid was put in to host the 2020 Summer Games. And at that time, there was the formation of the Dauphin Derailers Cycle Club. From 2017 to 2019, planning, fundraising, and construction was taking place. 2019, the trail system opens, ongoing programming and expansion. And then ultimately in 2024, the community hosted the rescheduled summer games due to COVID-19. The strategic approach that was taken was to build a multi-use accessible trail system with amenities to attract diverse users and events, focused fundraising on major grants and partnerships, and engaged expert designers and planners right from the outset. Initiative solutions designed for accessibility and year-round use. I think that's very important. Developed on-site amenities. As mentioned, there are 4 cabins, micro cabins that are available to rent for overnight stays. There's washrooms, picnic areas, and these are all things that help to enhance the visitor experience. There's something for everyone, from family-friendly pump track and accessible trails to world-class challenging trails. Community engagement, open board meetings, planning sessions, and volunteer opportunities were part of the process. Active collaboration with landowners, festival organizers, and local groups. And events and youth programs were also part of this, the Kids in Mud program, Bike Week. And this all helped to foster community use and that community pride and community ownership. Some of the outcomes and impacts on the economic benefits side: attracted over 25,000 visitors in peak seasons, boasting local tourism and supporting local businesses. Spurred new enterprises like bike repair, guided tours, lessons, and group experiences. On the social and community impact, expanded recreational opportunities and fostered a culture of outdoor activity. Inspired similar trail projects in neighboring communities. Sustainability and future growth, built for low maintenance and long-term durability. Ongoing expansion plans to connect with Rocky Mountain National Park and grow the network. Operations sustained by volunteers, grants, and revenues from amenities. Some of the challenges and solutions: weather-related construction delays mitigated by expert planning and resilient design. Volunteer and board turnover addressed through succession planning and rebranding. Marketing challenges remain, ongoing efforts to improve outreach. Some of the best practices identified were prioritizing major funding and professional planning. Build a diverse and skilled team on the planning for leadership succession. And I just know from personal experience that, or personal relations, that, Dauphin's really fortunate to have that really dedicated volunteer and group that really make sure that Northgate succeeds and moves forward. So really fortunate, and that's really a key component of the success of Northgate. Engaging the community early and often to build that trust and support, and design for accessibility, sustainability, and that future growth. The message: Northgate Trails has transformed Dauphin into a year-round recreation and tourism destination, demonstrating the power of community-led vision, strategic partnerships, and bold planning. Other rural communities are encouraged to dream big and plan for the long term, assemble diverse and committed teams, engage stakeholders and secure major funding early, invest in professional planning and accessible design. Additional resources, similar as Eric was mentioning, the full case study is available for download at our website. I encourage you to visit the Northgate Trails website at northgatetrails.com. We have our QR code there that will give you access to our other case studies that we have. That brings me to the last slide. Just thank you for listening to me, and I will just stop sharing my screen. And we're fortunate to have Clayton Swanton here, and Brenda Gregory, I see as well, has joined us. So both are, uh, on the board with Northgate, very huge supporters and drivers of the project. And I'm not sure, Clayton, if there's anything you want to add or anything you want to speak of, or see if there's any questions for that.
Yeah, I can just quickly chime in that I think from the get-go, our vision was trails as a rural economic driver, which is kind of what you guys are all about, right? How do you drive rural economies? And we took a bit of a different approach. Of it wasn't smokestacks we were looking to attract; it was tourism dollars. We are 10 kilometers from a national park. Not every community in Canada can say that. In fact, I think we're only the only one, the only city, right? So that was our vision, and we continue to grow that. I think the trails have become provincially known. We're working on nationally known, and just looking to drive the expansion into Rocky Mountain National Park with our exciting announcement last week that the province was committing 1.5 million towards Northgate Trails in order to help us expand. So yeah, the vision is kind of coming to fruition.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that was really big announcement a couple of weeks ago with the budget announcement for sure. Helps to push forward that long-term vision and sustainability of the trail network into the future. Yeah, so with that, I'll just open it up if there is any questions or any comments from anybody. Oh, you might be off the hook as well, Clayton. Always a good thing. I guess that just kind of alludes to the fact that the presentation was that informative that
Exactly.
nobody has any additional questions. Um, yeah, Eric had to leave, so it's just me at this point. But um, yeah, I think that might end up concluding our presentations today. We just wanted to make sure that our information got out there. As I mentioned, our all the case studies are available on our website, and they're available for download. Um, so yeah, if there's no further questions or no comments, I think we can wrap it up in half an hour early, and people can have that extra 30 minutes of found time. So thanks for joining us today, and be sure to watch for future webinars that will be coming up shortly. Thanks very much.